Good morning, happy Sunday. Today is Sunday, October 20th, and I am your morning witch. So the other day, my friend Kenzie said, what do we do with the offerings after we've made them? So that's what we're going to talk about today. There's all sorts of different kinds of offerings, okay? So we're going to go through different offerings kind of as a group, and we'll start with food. So there's multiple different ways of doing food offerings, whether it's to a deity or the ancestors or both, however your practice is, that's fine. We're talking about food offerings no matter who it's for. Food offerings. There are traditions where you put the food out and the family or the gathered peoples that are celebrating whatever rite we're celebrating and giving the honorings of food for, they eat off of this buffet of food that is set out as offering, and then when they go continue their gathering, they leave the remainder of that buffet of food for the ancestors or for the deities that are being celebrated, right? So we are not wasting any. We're all getting our fill of food, and there's still food for the ancestors and the gods and goddesses. At the end of such things, usually the rest of that food is put out into nature as long as it is safe for that purpose, right? So like if you've got a bunch of chocolate, a bunch of processed food, raisins, these are all very bad for wildlife and should just be disposed of in other ways. But other ways are respectful of disposing of your offerings. Of course, that's the whole point of this video. So one of the most common and most acceptable ways of disposing of an offering that you're not just putting out into nature is to burn them. Whether it's food or not, burning that offering to finalize that token of this is an offering for the ancestors, this is an offering for the deities. Burning is kind of like the main accepted way. You could also bury it if it was food or some object that would be biodegradable that you do not want to burn, but you still don't want animals to get a hold of because it could be dangerous to them for some reason. You could bury it, but you'd have to dig a hole deep enough. The animals are unlikely to want to scavenge out of the hole. And just in case, you would put rocks on top to make sure that nothing digs that offering up and hurts itself with your offering. What about drinks? Okay, so drinks, I personally, I don't typically put out any kind of beverage offering that has sugars in it. And that's because I usually leave the drink until it's consumed by the ancestors and or evaporates, Either one could be happening, but it does look like my ancestors be drinking the whiskey I'm leaving for them. I'm just saying, it doesn't look like that should have evaporated because I've left whiskey, I've left wine, I've left coffee, and it looks like the whiskey is drinking, drank, whatever the proper verbiage is. It is consumed. So if you do have offerings of drink left and you don't want to just pour them down the drain, find a safe place in the earth to pour them into. They are drinks. They will go down into the earth as long as it's safe to put into the earth. If it's highly processed, if it's highly sugared and full of dyes, maybe don't put that in the earth. But at the same time, earth is a cleanser, so dig a hole, pour it down there, cover the hole again. It's not likely to hurt animals. But do dig the hole, because wine is not good for animals. Any grape products are not terribly good for most animals. Even fruit-eating animals, I've read that grapes aren't good for them. I mean, not all fruit-eating animals. I'm just saying, as a general rule, if it's raisins, grapes, grape products like wine, balsamic vinegar, these kinds of things, just don't put it where animals can get to it. And for purposes of disposing of a liquid, we can still dig that hole. We can fill that hole in. We probably don't even need to put rocks on top because once you've poured the liquid into the earth, it's going to start absorbing down and all that. Okay, so offerings that were not food or drink related. Okay, something maybe like tobacco or other herbs. Again, once you are done with that, you can put it out into the earth, whether you put it into a compost or you just kind of scatter it in your earthing area. Again, not all herbs are good for animals, so make sure that if you are choosing to scatter your herbs onto the earth, that it's in a place that It's not going to be in contact with wildlife or other people's pets or your own pets. Like, obviously, we're going to keep our own pets safe while we're looking out for everybody else's animals, right? I mean, those animals are themselves. They're not people. Animals are not belongings, but please understand what I'm trying to say up until that moment where I just wanted to clarify that animals are not belongings. Okay, so anything else that's not something that we can scatter onto the earth or pour into the earth, again, burying it works. Bury it deep enough that it's not going to attract the attention of wildlife so that it stays buried. Put rocks on top, because then even if it attracts their attention, they're not really going to be able to get at it because of the rocks. And if you don't want to bury it, burning it is the next best thing. The last thing that I could say is, if it's an offering that you want to be taken away from you, as long as it is a safe item to put into the waters, you can put it into a moving body of water to be carried away. But don't pollute the earth by practicing your craft or by practicing worship of ancestors or deities. It kind of takes away from the worship when we are damaging this ball under our feet. Yeah, maybe that's a personal opinion, but like, I bet the earth agrees with me. So if you have any other questions about, like, if there's something that you feel like wasn't covered and how to take care of offerings, like how to dispose of them safely, please give that to me in the comments, and I'll respond. These are the things that I am used to using as offerings, right? So like, if it's something that I'm not used to, I'm not going to think to tell you how to take care of it. You know what I'm saying? So like, please do not hesitate to ask me. I would love to further expand my mind and further help everybody watching. Have a blessed Sunday.